Hey guys, today is July 8th, 2020. I'm Kimberly Jolly from Fat Quarter Shop Flosstube. We're right in the middle of Jolly July and it has been so fun. So Jolly July is a collaboration with us and Priscilla and Chelsea of Stitching with the Housewives. And we just stitch every day in July in celebration of Christmas. So when Christmas comes around, you've got all your stuff ready. It's been wonderful to see everything that people are sharing, even on YouTube. So super awesome. I hope you guys are doing well. And I'm just going to kind of jump right in and talk about everything I've done the first week. I've got a ton done. So I'm going to keep that momentum rolling. And I have really big goals for next week. And so I'm going to show you kind of where I'm at and what my goals are. And we can see if I get to those. I think I will. So I have been keeping track of everything in my cross stitch journal. And I have so many journals going that I had to put some stickers on here. So this one, my Jolly July has got the iron. So let's see, the very first day I worked on Kringles. Now this one took me a long time. It took almost 7 hours. And here we are. So basically what I worked on this week is the swag row. And the way that I found the best for it to work is I did all of the green first. Then I filled in all of the red. And then I just filled in the black so I wouldn't have to think. It took me almost 7 hours, so it took several days. What I'll be working on this week is this brick part for the bottom. So you can see I kind of started. So like today, my goal is to have this part of the brick done. And then throughout the week, just add a little bit as I go. The brick is probably the most tedious just because it's a lot of moving around. So what my goal, kind of what I do is I do all the green. So you can see I already did that top green line. And I'm going to do all the green and then I just fill in the red so you don't have to think. So we'll see how much I get done today, but definitely by next week I'm going to have the whole brick row done. And then I will also go ahead and fill in the white frames for the rooms so that when I get to the rooms it's super easy to fill in. And I'll probably do these frames before I go down because I don't want that red on the white. So I'm super OCD, so I'll probably do all the white first because I don't want that red. I want to do the red after the white. So this is Kringles by Little House Needleworks. And that is, feels really nice to keep working on that. And for this pattern, it is very, it's got a lot, so I am using my line keepers, and I've been using about 3 per pattern. I can't show you, but the pattern is super, because I don't want to give away the pattern, but the pattern is super, got a lot of detail, so that's really helping me. So that's the first one. The second day, oh my gosh, I had so much fun working on this. This is the Jolly Saint Nick and Rudolph by Priscilla and Chelsea of the Real Housewives of Cross Stitch. So here's the pattern. And I used the thread pack. And you can see I just kind of throw everything in there. So this is week 1. So how I had divided this for Jolly July is I was thinking week 1 would be here, week 2, week 3, and then week 4, week 5. But as I was stitching, it was much easier to go ahead and put the tree in. So when I work on this tomorrow, I'm gonna do all of this part and the gift so that I'll be a little bit ahead, and then next week I can divide the Santa into 3 sections so it'll be more doable. But this is super easy. I'm just stitching on black Aida, which of course I love stitching on Aida more than anything. It's so quick. This one took me, it says 6 hours. So it's really fun though. And I really like how the little white accents the lights. So this was day 2. And then day 3 is Mistletoe Lane. So Mistletoe Lane is our wonderful PDF that came out on Friday. It's 3 sections. So this is section 1. Section 2 will come out Friday morning. And I will show you where I'm at on mine. I'm stitching on the Overcast vintage cloth, and I'm using the Weeks Dye Works. And so on this one, I didn't even cut my fabric down for some reason. Sometimes I trim my fabric before I start, and sometimes I don't. So I just kind of started, and I've got this done. We did get some questions on, people were wondering why this side on the right is not exactly the same as the side on the left. And that's just artistic interpretation. So this is all, when we do our designs, we hand draw it. One of our artists will hand draw it, and then we convert it. And so I didn't even notice that when I was stitching it, but it is definitely not a mistake. It's just the way it goes. So this one I spent, let's see, 9 hours. So I'm hoping part 2, I actually haven't peeked yet to see which section part 2 is, but I'm hoping this week is a little bit easier. And then day 4, I worked on, oh my gosh, I love this. I worked on Jolly Claws. So this is a brand new PDF that you can get at Back Quarter Shop or on the Etsy store from Stitching with Housewives. And so they're doing 4 ornaments. This is the first one. And there is my ornament. So what I've decided to do, I talked to Priscilla about this, is we're going to finish all 4 of them very similar, and then we're going to put it on a tray, a 3-tiered tray, so I can have one. So the way that I did this is I took the threads from, when I got it, I just took the threads from this bag, which is Jolly St. Nick. So I just took all the threads from in here and used them on here, and then the blue I pulled from a different bag. So the blue I used is Jaybird. I can't remember what bag I pulled from, but it is something that I pulled from an existing project. So on this one, I really didn't have to buy anything. This black was left over actually from Jolly St. Nick. So I might have enough room to put another ornament here. So on this one, the only money I spent was buying the PDF. So that's really fun. And so next week, so this Friday, along with the Mistletoe Lane, we will have a brand new PDF for their next ornament. And that took me about 6 hours. This is Snow Village. So this took, oh my gosh, only 6 hours. I was so excited. I'm getting faster on this Aida. So this is what I worked on, part 8. I am leaving all of the back stitching and French knots and all of that stuff off, and I will just fill that in all at the end. I don't trust my tension. So this week I'm going to work on part 9, and my goal is to completely finish part 9 because I really want to get this done for this Christmas. So, and then part 10 is out and part 11 is not, but super excited on this one. And then the next one is Christmas Typography. So this one I kind of had a little bit of a change. So this is Christmas Typography by Pine Mountain Designs, and I just loved this pattern. So I started it. I think it's this. Okay, I started it, and I got all this done, and I thought that red is just maroon. It just was so red, and I thought it was going to bother me the whole time. So I kept this because I figure I could finish the E, and I could still finish it and do something with it and put it in maybe my little tray. But I really was not loving the red. That is Turkish red. It was just too maroon. So I cut the fabric down again, and I changed it to Liberty by Weeks Dye Works. And so you can see the difference. You really can't see the difference in the red on the screen, but in real life, this is much more maroon. And so I am much happier with this. So I used Liberty, Scoopernog, and Island Breeze. And this is day 6 and 7. And the best thing about doing this one is this one took me 3 hours. And the next row took an hour and a half. And so on these 2 days, when I have less to do, I can finish like Snow Village and all the others that are much harder. So this next week, I'll also be working on this. And I've been using the little bitty design boards to just throw my thread on when I'm left over. And one question that I did get is, I keep getting questions about this light. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about the light and show you how I use it. And this bag is from Goose Designs. So this is my light that I use. It has three light settings. Hold on. So bright, less bright, and then off. So what I do when I stitch is I put this on my lap desk. And it's got a magnifier, a 2.5 magnifier. There, I'll turn the light off. But, so that's the way that I stitch on 25 count. It's the only way I can see. Now I can stitch on 10 count and 14 count without the light. But without, I cannot do 25 count unless I have this. There's no way. I just can't see it. So this is the light I use. It's called Halo Go. It is rather expensive. But I do have one here at work, and I also have one at home. That's how much I love it, because at first I was just taking it back and forth, you know, from home to work to home to work, and that was just too much. So, oops. So let's go to the front camera, and then we can just talk about what other questions you have. I hope you guys are having fun in Jolly July and getting a lot done. And I will say I was super thankful on this. I had not cut my project down when I did this, because if I had, then I might not have had enough to restart. So that was a saving grace.
All right. Stella Napier had asked, is it bad that I'm doing whips for Jolly July?
What?
Is it bad that she's just doing whips instead of...
Oh, yeah, no. You should do whatever you want to do. Like, I think anytime you're doing anything Mania, Jolly July, anything, you should do whatever you want to do, whatever is going to accomplish your personal goals, and you shouldn't worry about anything anybody else does. That's the biggest thing I think I find on social media is you're trying to compare yourself to everyone else. Whether it's your kids or your stitching, do whatever you want to do. I just say do whatever you want to do. I was watching a live stream last night of somebody, and he was just talking about all this stuff, and I was thinking, do whatever you want to do. Who cares what everybody else does?
From Stacy Fallon, could Mistletoe Lane be stitched on white?
Yeah, it is white. Oh, it isn't white. Yes, it could be stitched on white. Sorry, it's gray. I was thinking of the other one, but yes, you can. And I wanted to show you this. I'll show you this real quick. This is Christina. She works in the warehouse filling orders, and she is also doing Mistletoe Lane, and she's doing it on black. So this is the 10 count blackboard vintage cloth, and she's using Cosmo. So since she works in the warehouse, she was able to pick out what she wanted, and it looks great. So this is a great way to see that even though we did ours on gray, you can do yours on black or anything that you want. And then she'll have this journal to go back to if she needs to remember what color she used.
Okay, and from Linda Friend, what size did you cut for Mistletoe Lane? The fabric, I think.
I didn't cut my fabric. So I would just add 6 inches to the finished size that's listed on the pattern, and that gives you 3 inches all the way around. Now, if I cut my fabric, I usually only give 2 inches all the way around, but we've gotten people who say, oh, that's definitely not enough. So it's kind of up to your interpretation. And really, if I cut my fabric or not just kind of depends if I feel like it, or if it's getting in the way, or like if I'm in my sewing, sometimes I stitch in my sewing room. So if I'm in there, obviously the rotary cutter's right there, I'll just cut it. But sometimes I cut it down, sometimes I don't. whatever works for me in that moment. Like I was talking about, like, you don't have to have rules. You don't have to do everything. You can just do whatever you want to do. And that's kind of what I do, is whatever I feel like that day.
From Natalia K, the red thimble. I love the lettering. Are there thoughts on making an alphabet fat quarter shop style?
So there's an alphabet that we have actually designed. We are fine-tuning it. It is not the same alphabet, but it is going to be used on our Gingham on the Go bags, and we're kind of testing it out right now. And it's going to be where you can either do words or monograms. And it's awesome. And we're going to do it as a low price PDF. We're not going to sell it as a paper pattern. We're going to do it as a PDF.
Great. From Jorana Nelms, when you are stitching the borders, do you half stitch around, then go back and complete the X?
I usually stitch in rows. So I like to go all the way down the row and then all the way back. And the reason why is I go faster. Now, when I'm doing the bricks in Kringles, I'm doing 1X at a time so that I don't get off on my stitches. So it kind of just depends, but my goal is I do whatever is the most efficient.
From Kathy Adams, is there a DMC thread pack for Jolly St. Nick?
No, but they do list, and we have it listed on our website, DMC conversions.
From Donna Jones Webb, do you have any special tips on stitching on black cloth, struggling with seeing blocks?
So some people will put a light box in their lap, or maybe a white pillow or a white piece of paper, something white, because that will contrast up. Using a light would obviously help. I actually, for some reason, don't have any trouble seeing black. So when I go to baseball, my son is actually still playing baseball. So when I go to baseball, my favorite thing to take is the black Aida, because I feel like I can see it better than the white. I don't know why. So I must be opposite.
From Stella Napier, do you make a working copy of your patterns?
No. I would, so what she's asking is, like, do you Xerox, or I guess copy the pattern and then work from that? I don't, because, I would just, I don't know if that just would take extra time, and I just use my line keepers and go line by line.
Question from Mom. My question is, how do you keep your cloth clean? I wash my hands before I stitch and it still gets dirty. Also, do you wash your cloth after, and if so, how?
So I basically wash my hands before, and then if my hands get sticky or something, I will just get up and wash my hands. I don't generally get anything dirty. Of course, that'll probably jinx me and I'll get something dirty. But if I get something on my cloth, I would just use a Tide pen. At the end, I do not wash my projects, and I do always keep them in a project bag, so you can see that they're in bags, so that when I go to and from work, because I stitch at work a lot, they'll just, first of all, it's easy for me to find. I don't lose anything. I don't mix up my threads between each, and I just keep them in the bag. But I don't wash at the end. Now you can. It's whatever you're comfortable with.
All right, and then we just had a few nice comments that came in. First one from Priscilla and Chelsea, saying, love your Jolly Claws and Jolly St. Nick, Kimberly.
Thank you.
And then Lori Holt says, Kimberly, you are amazing. You are getting so much stitching done, and I love it all. Your Snow Village makes me jealous every time you show it.
Thank you. Yeah, Lori really loves the Snow Village.
And then we got one from Shelly Edwards saying, you must have super sight to go with your super taster.
Oh, I must. That's funny. That's funny. So I'm going to now show you some other Jolly Julys that everyone who works here has been working on. So the very first one, Terri, this is the Vintage Christmas Sampler by Lori Holt, and she is stitching this on 32 count Petty Point Belfast, and she's using DMC. And so this is super tiny. I don't know how she sees that. So we're going to show each week what she does. And she's just using DMC, and she came up with her own colors. It's so cute. She's got some little lights here. So that is what Terri has been working on. And then Cheryl has been working on a lot of different things. So her goal is to do 2 different projects a week. So I've got 4 here, one for week 1 and one for week 2. So this is Noah's Christmas Arc 7 by Plum Street Sampler. She's stitching on 32 count Lugana from her stash, and she's using the called for DMCs. And on this one, she was texting me about it. So this is all stitched over 2, except the face is stitched over 1. So that's how you get that look of this much smaller face to the big fat body. It's a little bitty face. And then the next one that she's working on is she makes all of these Prairie Schooler Santas. She's probably made all of them like more than once. So this is the 2020 Santa. And so he looks like he's like running.
Yeah.
He's like, get me out of 2020. We need to go to 2021. Seriously. And she stitched on 32 count red on natural petty point. And then I think that's the same thing that Terri stitched on. Isn't it? Oh, no, it's not. So see, it also comes, so you can see you can get different dot colors and different base colors. And she's using the called for DMC. Yes, this should be called the Get Out of 2020. We all need to get out of this year. The next one that Cheryl's working on is Mary 1 by Plum Street Samplers. And she is stitching on 32 count from her stash. And she's using the called for Classic Colorworks. She did change a color in the Santa. And it's so amazing, but I want to show you the back.
Wow.
And what is so amazing about Cheryl is she does not use a light. She does not use a magnifier. I have zero idea how she can see this. I'm amazed. So pretty. And then her other one is another Prairie Schooler. So this pattern is called St. Nicholas, and it has all these different Santas in it. And so this one she's doing is right here. Maybe she reversed it, because the tree is on the left here and the tree is on the right here. So maybe she reversed it. And she's using the called for DMC, and she's stitching on 32 count taupe Lugana from her stash. And on these, she when she does the Prairie Schooler, she tends to keep the DMCs the same. She doesn't usually change her DMCs on the Prairie Schooler. She keeps them traditional. So that's so cute. So that is like all of the Jolly July, every Jolly July that we have. We hope that there's something in that big batch of all the things that might inspire you to do something. If you haven't started Jolly July yet, it's not too late.
Question from Crafting a Planned Life. Do you use a ring to hold the cloth tight, or do you just roll it up in your hand?
So I roll it up in my hand and I stitch in hand. There is a video that Priscilla and Chelsea did that is on our YouTube channel that talks about it. And I did start with the Q-snap, and I needed to go faster. So Chelsea just kept telling me, you can do it, you can do it, you can do it. And I was like, well, okay, if she can do it, I can do it. So eventually I just got used to it. It took a long time to get used to it and to really get to where my stitches are flat, but now I can just do it. It's much easier. Plus, I mean, I'm always on the go. Not so much now, but usually I'm at dance conventions, baseball games, basketball games. Now I'm not at anything really. I'm just at baseball. But I like to be able to pick up and go. I like to be able to go to the pool. Like we do go to the neighborhood pool, so I can just, if the kids just decide, like, we're pretty fly by the seat of our pants, so they might just be like, oh, let's go to the pool. So it's like I can just pick up a bag and go. And I don't have to think about getting the right Q-snap and all that.
From Nita Pool, is there a set of the Snow Village patterns instead of buying each one?
Not yet, because part 11, which is the last part, has not been released yet. But once 11 comes out, we will combine them into a set. And that's probably still 3 weeks out. I don't think she's shown a tease yet of it or anything.
Okay. And a few people are asking how many parts are there. So
11.
From Nadine Merrick, what craft holds your passion the most, cross-stitch or quilting? You are so great at both.
Oh, I think both. I love both. The thing with quilting is I have to go in a room and then I'm not around my kids. So I like to be around my kids. So cross stitch allows me to do that. But I love to quilt. Like if I start quilting, I could quilt for 12 hours straight and not even take a break. Like I could just not stop. I can only cross stitch for about 2 or 3 hours and then I have to stop and take a break. But quilting, I can just go. Yeah.
Okay, and then we got a super chat from Threadneedle. I believe it's for £4.99.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Yay, Super Piggy.
Piggy's my dog. So I wanted to show you, okay, so this is super awesome. So this is, I'm going to show you first my original Needlebook. So Lori made this for me years ago, this Needlebook right here. And I've had it for years. And so many of you guys have asked, I might have a couple needles. I have needles. I have stuff everywhere, guys. Just look at all those needles. I'm never going to be short a needle, I'll tell you that. So you guys, when we first started the channel, asked about a Needlebook. So Lori now has a YouTube channel. You can subscribe to it. She has so many subscribers for just starting, so that's super awesome. And this is her Needlebook. So it's pretty much the same thing. But she has a video on how to do it. So it's so awesome. I'm going to show you all about it, and you can go watch her video. And luckily, she's my friend, and I got this as a gift. So this, she made a little loop with her lace, with her Prim Village charm. She used her lace to make the tie close, so you could use lace, or like on this one, she just used twill tape. She shows you how you make the outside. That's what you start with, is your patchwork outside. And I didn't think I could make one until I watched the video, and now I feel like I could. So you could make the book with one page. This one has a pocket, and so she put a little ruler in here. Oh my gosh, it's so cute. And some more scissors. And she used the lace as a decoration. She put some applique down using her So Simple Shapes. And then this one, she made one piece of paper so that you could hold this for quilting. And she's got needles. It's so cute. And then she put her needle minder here, which is awesome because, oh, and she put needles in here. Ooh. Oh my gosh, now I have more needles. Ooh. Yes. So she put her needle minder here. So this is so awesome. So I'm going to show you kind of the difference in the two. So this one is great because it holds the Aurifil 50 weight. And then this one just has more pages. So you can do either way. This one just has one more page. And she gives you step-by-step instructions on how to do it, and it's totally doable. And she did it all in one day, like the video and everything. So go subscribe to her channel. And if you're a quilter or a cross-stitcher, these are perfect. So now I have 2 bags.
Oh, yay.
Yay. So cute.
Gail Stale had said, Lori's needle case is really great. Love the YouTube video.
Yeah, it's a great video. I'm always so scared to do new things, you know, and she just shows how you do it. And I love that in her videos, she shows every single step. So you see it, and then you see that, oh, I can do all of those things. You just have to do them and add them up.
Yeah. From Bunny E. Martins, thank you for the mystery sew-alongs. I love them. I would like to replace Merry Christmas in the banner with Mistletoe Lane. Does that title appear elsewhere in the chart?
No.
And from Suze Jerome, what needles do you use?
I use size, okay, so I use Pat Carson needles. There's 25 in each. I have size 26, 24, and 28. Lately, I've been using 28, which is much sharper because I feel like I can go faster. Most of the time, I use size 26. I used size 24 on 10 count. Okay, so even though I finished all that, I finished more. Ooh. So if you are in our Prim Stitch Series Club by Lori Holt, this would have shipped to you last week on Friday. And if you're not in the club, you can buy the pattern this Friday. And this is part 1. It is a series where there's going to be 12 sections. You can either stitch it individually like I am, or you can stitch it as a set of 12 all in one piece. We have a free layout that you can get on our blog and our website that gives you all of that information. So, and this is how the pattern looks. It's on really nice paper. It's, of course, color. And this bag is coming in stock today. So if it comes in and it comes in correct, it will be online today. But I wanted to show you, in this bag, I've been using the bigger design board to keep my thread on. Now, I only keep the thread on it in between the project, but I finished 2 of these. Now, you have to remember, I've already started these. So these are part 5, this is part 5, and this is part 6. So that's all I'm going to show you. Is that I'm going to mail these to Lori today, and then I need to start 7 through 12, but I'm going to probably start those a little bit later. So let me know if y'all have any questions on Prim's Stitch series, and before I go to the next stuff.
Let's see. Deborah Denny was asking, wondering if there will be an autumn sew-along next.
We're going to do Stitchtober in October, and I'm going to show you some stuff and a little bit that I'm adding to my Stitchtober because I'm already planning my Stitchtober.
We got a super chat from, I think it's Ellis Loves LS, for $1.99, and they say, thank you, Fat Quarter Shop team, for all you do.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. And then we did have a question that came in from Crafts for Others. Have you ever thought of doing hand-pieced or quilting? Love to be able to do that on the go around other people.
No, that would take too much time. So hand piecing, hand quilting, no. But we do have some videos by Jen Kingwell that we filmed about probably 8 years ago that do talk about different tips on hand quilting or hand piecing. Both.
From Pacific Northwest Life, any chance Lori Holt will be bringing toll painting back?
No, I doubt it. She's going to bring back chalk paint. I mean, she's in the comments. She can answer, but she did do a video on how to paint this. So if you want to know how you can paint her frames or any frame, I mean, you can get a frame at Hobby Lobby, and you can see how she finished it on the back. She just put a fabric over the back, and she labeled it with her stitch card library cards.
Okay, from Tina Canis, I'm new to the Fat Quarter Shop fan club and have joined the fun, waiting for my vintage housewife kit to quilt, and have been a needle pointer for years. Is cross stitch hard to learn?
No, it's super easy. Needlepoint to me sounds so hard. So when Kevin and I were dating, very near his house in Houston, because in Houston sometimes shops are like in the middle of neighborhoods, there was literally really close to his house in a neighborhood was a needlepoint store, and literally in the middle of a neighborhood. And I would go in there and I loved it. I just loved to look around, but it was very intimidating.
From Natalia K, the Red Thimble, are you guys going to offer bigger pieces of Lori Holt's cross stitch fabric?
Prim comes in a bigger size, and so that is the one that's the bigger size, and as she develops new stuff, she will just make that decision. So she's in the chat. So she does have some new 14 count Aida coming in. It should be in very soon.
From Sandra Carrillo, good morning. I look forward to your videos every Wednesday and Friday. Thank you. For cross stitching, which needle is thinner, 26 or 24?
26. So needle size is opposite. So 24 is fatter, the fattest. 20 is really the fattest, but I only use Pat Carson needles. So 24 is the fattest, 26 is in the middle, and 28 is the skinniest. And the reason I like Pat Carson needles is I don't break them. There was another brand that I was breaking a lot. I do bend them, I will say. And so I have, like if I go really fast, I'll bend them, and I really have, this week I was trying to bend a needle back, like into place, and then I was like, oh, I'm just gonna throw it away. Like I couldn't get it back, and I had to start over with the new needle.
From Virginia Bovier, good morning, Kimberly and Lily. Is there a rule to when you tie off your stitches in between worked and non-worked stitches? Sorry, I don't know if I'm explaining myself well enough.
I'll show you this.
Okay.
Yeah. So here's this piece. So I will just kind of go under the stitches after I'm done, and I stay within the same color. So right here you can see that I just kind of went under. So I try to go under previous stitches about 4 or 5. And I just go, like, I wouldn't put the blue under the red. I would just put it under what I just previously worked on. That's what I do. So I wouldn't travel from like here to here. I hope that answers your question. So I want to show you another sew along. So I really did do a lot this week. I'm surprised I'm not tireder. So this is Singing in the Rain by Bev McCullough of Flamingo Toes. And so there, and then we've got a chart that shows you the dates of her sew along, and it's also on her blog Flamingo Toes and on our blog. And her pattern, this is her pattern. You can tell that it's kind of getting done up. I am using Aurifil, so these are the colors I'm using. So I'm going to show you how mine looks now. So that's how I'm keeping my thread on my bitty board. And so this is what I worked on last week. And when I did it, I wasn't sure if the gray was dark enough, but I think it is. Can you zoom in a little bit, Lily? Mm-hmm. So on this one, there's a couple of things that I did slightly different than her pattern. More. There. So what I did was, in this corner, these 2 corners, or these 4 corners, I did 3/4 inch stitches right there. Down here, I just did regular cross stitches, and I did not do a back stitch because I didn't think it looked good when I did it. And then on here, my stitches for the umbrella handle are individual. So instead of stitching, so you can see the difference. Hers, she used a darker thread, but hers is just a stitch from the top to the bottom and then around. I did it individually because I didn't want mine to kind of go everywhere. And I like that it's light. I wasn't sure if I should do a light or a navy, but I like how it came out. So you can see kind of the difference in, she's got some back stitches right here at the bottom, and I didn't do those. And so that just shows you when you're stitching with something, you can totally make it your own. And you can change a designer's pattern just to fit yourself. And the designer's not going to be insulted or anything, because that's the whole joy of cross stitching, is to be able to make it your own. I do tend to keep my needles within each project, and then once I finish the project, I put it in my book. And then this week, there's raindrops down here, so I will have that row done, the next row done next week, which is right here, these little raindrops right here. So that's what I've stitched this week. I mean, you know, I'm gonna have to get busy after this. Okay, the one thing also is, as I do each row on this, I'm putting on the blog exactly what color I used, so that if you want to copy what I did, it will always live on the blog and you can always get to it.
All right, question from Gwen Smith. What does it mean when they refer to cross-stitch fabric in Prim colors? Because I think we keep talking about Prim fabric.
So Prim is just the name of a color. So like there might be oatmeal, there might be charcoal, there might be white. So it's just the color. Prim is just the color that Lori named it. So Lori doesn't ever name stuff the same. So you notice, like, when she does rickrack, she doesn't call her stuff rickrack. It's vintage trim. When she does needles, she doesn't call it needles. She calls it something else. So Prim is just her version of what she likes, and she wanted the whole Prim series to have that Prim look. So it's just part of her marketing, her genius, her everything is original to her. So it's just a color, like vintage country mocha or platinum. It's just a color.
Daisy.
Yeah.
Ana Sendeja says, hello, do you think you will be adding more people to your Classic Colorwork Club?
No, because she cannot add right now. If she could, then we would.
From Crafts for Others, is there a new cross stitch pattern coming out soon that is your favorite?
And it's in this next batch of stuff that I'm going to show you.
That's lovely.
So I'm going to show you some other new things that we have. So these are brand new needle minders. They go with the brand new Quilt Bee book by Bonnie and Camille. So they're really big, and you can use them on quilts or cross stitch, and they match her book. So these are brand new. And then we have some new patterns. This is Life is Sweet by Little Stitch Girl. Tumbleweeds by Little House Needleworks. And then Plum Street Sampler, we got a bunch of new ones in yesterday. So Tomato Dame. So it's like a tomato with, that's, I don't know, a garden within a tomato. Summer Hill. I think this one will be really popular. Grace on Thee. Summertime Blessings. Nightshade Bird. And then this is, I love this. Okay, so this is a brand new pattern called Let's Talk Autumn. It is by Hands On Design, and it has 3 designs in it, and I love it. And so I have already set aside my pattern, my fabric, my thread. There will be kits available soon. We're waiting on the 3865 DMC to arrive and more 14 count Aida to arrive, but I will be making this in Stitchtober, so I'll divide it up into a section. And I don't think I'll make the pillow, but I definitely will make this Hello Autumn. And in here she does link to some videos to show you how to finish these 2. And another thing that we found this week is this is Summer House. I am in the Facebook group called Little House and Country Cottage Stitching Group. So again, the Facebook group is Little House and Country Cottage Stitching Group. It's run by Little House Needleworks and Country Cottage Needleworks, and she releases free pattern. So it's beautiful, and it's got the flag, and it's got all her colors. So if you want this free pattern, go join their group and you download it there, because it's their pattern. But I just thought that would be really cool to show you. And then on our flash sale today is this pattern, which I love. It's called Farm Fresh Eggs, and the Barley 25 count Lugana. So those 2 are on sale today. And then the other thing that I was going to chat about is you may have seen a DMC price increase on our site. People were freaking out about it. So this is the deal, guys. On DMC, we pay 50 cents a skein. That's what we pay. I know that you can go to Joann's and get it for slightly more, and that's okay. Like, they're a much bigger company. They can buy that thread cheaper. It's probably a loss leader. So we have increased our price on DMC. That's the only way we're able to sell it. But if we're selling a thread for 50 cents, I can't turn around and sell that to you for 56 cents, which is what they sell it for at Michael's or Joann's, because I got to pay my employees. Like, they got to get a paycheck. It's got to come from somewhere. So if you are upset about the DMC price increase, I am so sorry. You can definitely go to Michael's or Joann's and buy that. But we have to be able to pay our employees. So we have priced it at 89 cents. That's not even a full markup, but we are a smaller company and we pay 50 cents a skein. So we do have to make money. So please don't call us and yell at us, because that's not going to change my mind. So I'm sorry if some of you guys are upset. I'm just being totally honest with you guys and transparent. And you can get the DMC cheaper at Michael's. You can sometimes get it cheaper at, sometimes I could go to Michael's and get it cheaper at Michael's than what I pay for it at the store. So do whatever works for you. If you need to save money, go to Michael's and get it. And I'm not going to be insulted in any way. I mean, there's plenty of business for everybody to make the world go round. I just have to be honest with you guys so that you don't think, because people were thinking that I was trying to like rip them off, and I'm like, no.
All right. A few questions here from Crafting a Planned Life. They say, I'm doing the Lori Holt card C set for my first ever project. How do you know what size of needle to use, or does it matter?
So if you're working, okay, so we have a product called, where is my cross stitch key, which hopefully I have mine in here. I don't know that I do. Yeah, I do. Cross stitch key. So this is the cross stitch key. So we listed on here what we recommend using. So on 10 count, we would recommend a size needle 24. For 14 or 28 count, we recommend 26. And for 32 to 40 count, we recommend a 28. Now, I will tell you that I have been using a size 28 on my 14 count and my 25 count. So it's all subjective. But this is kind of a cheat sheet that we put together so that if you have it in your bag, it really helps you, especially if you're new. So I do keep this in my bag because I do like to look at the floss strands and I like to measure. So when I start on the corner, for example, the main thing I use mine for is where to start. So I will take this and put it on the corner. And there's a dot for 1.5, 2, and 2.5. And right there, that's where I started. So I use this so that you can just use it to where to start. So we use it for a lot of different things, but that does have the information. And you could also Google, what size to use and find it there.
All right. From Etta K. Nickel, I noticed that there's a sewing machine stitching at the top of embroidery fabric. I am new to embroidering handheld. Is that something I should do?
So that is me, this stitching on the edge is just me at home doing it. Sometimes I stitch on it and sometimes I don't. So, like on this one, I did not stitch the edge. On this one, I did. So I really don't have a consistency. It's just like if I feel like it, I do it. If I don't, you don't have to. If you want to, I just use a regular sewing machine, a zigzag stitch, and I just increase the width and length of the stitch. But if you don't have that, you could always use painter's tape and seal it down. And like you see, I mean, it just kind of depends what I feel like doing. Like the Santa, I literally just sat down and just did it. I did everything but the blue because I was conflicted on the blue, on what to do with the blue.
From Linda Patrick, good morning. Question, do you ever have more than one thread needle when working on a piece? Threaded needle, sorry.
So I don't. Several people I work with do. So Cheryl does, Cody does, does Denise? Denise does. So what they do is we have a little tutorial we're going to do where you can have like a little bar and you pre-thread your needles. I don't do that for whatever reason. I don't know why I don't do that. I just don't. I only use one needle and I just change it each time. So that's kind of one of those things that it's all personal preference. You don't have to do something just because somebody else does it. You just do whatever works for you. I'm usually stitching in my bed, and in that bed I usually have 4 children, sometimes a husband, and a big old fat dog. Mm-hmm. So I don't know where that needle's going to go, and I can't tell you how many times I find needles on my floor. So I don't really have the space because usually the dog tries to get on top of all my stuff.
Yeah. Aww. From Robin Heinrich, I love all the patterns. I'm thinking I need to purchase a magnifier like you showed, struggling with 25 count. Is it long enough to sit next to me on the sofa? Love FQS and staff.
I think so. So this is what I do. I put a lap desk in my chair. I put it right here and then I bend it down. So that's how I do it at home. But you could do it here, and I just go up and down. And this goes up and down. So it's very flexible on what it will do. Now, when I go to like a baseball game or something, I don't take this. Now, if I'm in my hotel room, I will use it, but I don't take this. I don't take this everywhere.
From Gillian, will the new DMC price affect orders already made but not shipped yet?
No.
All right. And from Gail Stale, they were asking if Denise is good. Haven't heard her whispering lately.
She's good. She's smiling.
Yeah, her whispers have improved so that they're like extra soft now.
Yeah, and she's working on something really cute that's Halloween, and she has to bring it next week.
Ooh, I'm very excited. Okay.
So guys, I hope you guys have been inspired in some way. I'm super excited and honored that you guys are stitching along with Jolly July. And I will be back next week with so much more stitching. And I love when you hashtag FQS Jolly July and PC Jolly July so we can see what you guys are stitching. And I'll see you guys next week.
Bye, guys.